Krishnas, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshutarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are discussing the cosmology section of this fifth canto, wherein Shukdev Goswami is describing to Parikshit Maharaj all the various things which are there in this whole Bhumandala and in this whole Jambudvipa and whole universe. So we saw how in the last class we saw the various dvipas of various varshas of Jambudvipa, and we saw there are 9 varshas which are separated by lots of mountains, lots of technical things which we discussed, and we saw that all the residents of the various varshas, they offer beautiful prayers to the predominating deities of these varshas. Just like in Ilavrit Varsha, the predominating deity is Sankarshana. In Hari Varsha, Prahlad Maharaj worships Narsimha Dev. In Kim Purusha Varsha, Hanumanji is worshipping Lord Ram. In Bharat Varsha, Narad Muni is worshipping Nar Narayan Rishis. In Ramyak Varsha, Vaivaswata Manu is worshipping Matsyavatar. In Hiranmaya Varsha, Aryama, who is the chief of all the Pitris, he is worshipping Kurma Dev. And in Uttar Kuru Varsha, Mother Earth herself is worshipping Varahadev. In Bhadrashva Varsha, this Bhadrashva is worshipping Hayagriva. And in Ketumal Varsha, Lakshmi Devi is worshipping Kamadev. So that Kamadev is not Cupid, he is the Supreme Lord, Pradyumna. And then we saw around Jambudvipa there are 8 islands, and one of the islands was Lanka and other is Ramanaka Island where Kalia resides. And then we saw the location of Jambudvipa, location of Bharata Varsha, that is our planet Earth. Where is that located? We saw in this Bharat Varsha, there are 9 divisions. You can see the pointer, and in the 9th division of this 9 divisions is the Bharat Khanda or Earth planet. So that's all we discussed so far. And today we'll be starting the 20th chapter of this 5th canto, that is studying the structure of the universe. So after describing the various varshas of Jambudvipa in detail, now Shukdev Goswami begins to explain the varshas of remaining 6 dvipas. So what you are seeing on the slide is the view of this whole Jambudvipa, whole Bhumandala from above. So from above, when you are seeing this whole Bhumandala, how does it look? It looks like what you are seeing on the slide. So in the center, there is a Jambudvipa. Surrounded by Jambudvipa is a saltwater ocean. And then subsequent dvipas will be discussed. So this is just an overview. So now Shukdev Goswami describes, you can see, you can read the various Dvipa names which are there written here, and they are separated by a particular ocean. So Shukdev Goswami now starts, he says that now I shall describe to you the remaining 6 islands of the Bhumandala, their dimensions, their characteristics and their forms. So first, although he describes each Varsha, each Dvipa separately, but we'll be discussing the common characteristics of each Dvipa first, and then the some different characteristics of each Dvipa we'll be discussing. So as you can see in this slide, there are the similar characteristics of various Dvipas which are mentioned here. So what are the common aspects of these 6 islands? So these 6 islands, they are circle, they are like a ring. Middle one, most center one is the Jambu Dvipa. As you can see, I'll go just to the previous slide. As you can see this center one is the Jambu Dvipa, and then surrounding this Jambu Dvipa is the salt water ocean. After this Jambu Dvipa, the next Dvipa which comes is called Plaksha Dvipa. This Plaksha Dvipa is surrounded by an ocean of sugar water. That is a sugar water ocean. And then surrounding this sugar water ocean is a ring of another Dvipa called Shalmali Dvipa, which is surrounded by an ocean of liquor. So as you can see, this is the ocean of liquor. And then surrounding this ocean of liquor, there is another Dvipa called Kusha Dvipa. And this Kusha Dvipa is surrounded by the clarified butter ocean. So this is the clarified butter ocean. Okay, so this is the clarified butter ocean surrounding this Kusha Dvipa. After this Kusha Dvipa, this is another Dvipa called Krauncha Dvipa. And Krauncha Dvipa, this whole circle, this whole ring is called Krauncha Dvipa. And surrounding this ring is a ocean of milk. So we have heard, we'll discuss in the 8th canto, the Samudra Manthan Leela, where demons and the Devatas, they churned the milk ocean. Which was that milk ocean? That was this milk ocean which they churned. So this is the milk ocean which was churned by the Devatas and the Rakshasas, and various things came out of that milk ocean. And surrounding this milk ocean is another Dvipa called Shaka Dvipa. So this is the Shaka Dvipa. And surrounding the Shaka Dvipa, there is another ocean of yogurt, emulsified yogurt. Surrounding this emulsified yogurt ocean, there is another Dvipa that is called Pushkar Dvipa. This is the last Dvipa. So this is the last Dvipa of the 7 Dvipas. And on this Pushkar Dvipa, there is something interesting. As you can see, on this Pushkar Dvipa, there is a range of mountain, concentric range of mountain. And on this range of mountain, just above this range of mountain, some thousands of yojanas, sun revolves around this Bhumandal. So as you can see, this is the sun. And the sun revolves around just above this Manasottara mountain. So this mountain is called Manasottara mountain. And then after this Pushkar Dvipa, there is an ocean of sweet drinking water. After this, whatever is there, we'll discuss after some time. So now we'll see the common characteristics of all these Dvipas. So as we saw, that Jambu Dvipa is surrounded by saltwater ocean. So the width of the ocean, I'll just go yeah. As you can see in this slide, every Dvipa is surrounded by a by an ocean of equal width. So as you can see on this slide, all the numbers which are there, 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0.8, 1.6. So these are all they are doubling. So Jambu Dvipa, double the size of Jambu Dvipa is the Plaksha Dvipa. Double the size of Plaksha Dvipa is the Shalmali Dvipa. So this is how every Dvipa, successive Dvipa is double the size of the previous Dvipa, and every Dvipa is surrounded by the ocean of similar size. So Plaksha Dvipa is 0.2 million yojanas. 1 million is 10 lakhs. So 0.2 million yojanas is the size of Lakshadweep, and similar is the ocean which is surrounding this Lakshadweep. Now all these dweepas, they are ruled by the sons of Priyavrat Maharaj. So as we discussed in the first chapter and the subsequent chapters, that Priyavrat Maharaj, all his sons became the ruler of these 7 dweepas. Jambu Dvipa is the Dvipa where whatever we discussed, Agnidra is ruling this Jambu Dvipa. And similarly, all the other rulers are mentioned. And then after all these rulers are mentioned, Shukdev Goswami mentions about the mountains and the rivers which are there in every Dvipa. So it describes that in each of these first 5 dvipas, that is starting from Plaksha, Shalmali, Kusha, Krauncha and Shaka. All these 5 dvipas, they have 9 varshas. Jambudvip has, all these dvipas have 7 varshas. Jambudvip has 9 varshas. As we discussed, the 9 varshas of Jambudvipa. Apart from Jambudvipa, all the other dvipas, Plaksha, Shalmali, Kusha, Krauncha and Shaka, all these dvipas have 7 varshas. So as you can see in this slide, the rulers of these dvipas, Idmajihva, Yagyabahu, Hiranyareta, all of them had 7 sons. So there was an equal division, 7 varshas they gave to 7 sons. The last dvipa, which is called as Pushkara Dvipa, it had only 2 varshas. It has only 2 varshas, and the ruler of this dvipa had 2 sons. So he gave those 2 sons to 2 varshas to 2 sons. So this is the description of the various rulers, the ocean, and there are various types of rivers we'll be discussing. Each of these dvipas have inhabitants who are staying there, and all the inhabitants of these dvipas, they have very high, extraordinary longevity, sensory prowess. They are physically very, very strong, they are very intelligent, and they are very brave. And the inhabitants of these, they worship the various they worship Supreme Lord in the form of various devatas like sun, moon, Agni, Varuna, all this. So we'll discuss that also in some time. So now after this, now we'll go to we'll zoom out, the center one. As you can see, the center one is the Jambu Dvipa. So this is the Sumeru mountain. Center one, this one is the Jambu Dvipa. In Jambu Dvipa, we saw there are 9 varshas. So surrounding this Jambu Dvipa, there is a salt water ocean. As you can see, this salt water ocean is there, which surrounds Jambu Dvipa. Surrounded by salt water ocean, there is another Dvipa called Plaksha Dvipa. So this is the Plaksha Dvipa. So this Plaksha Dvipa, it has 7 mountains. As you can see, all these things which are here, the images, they are the mountains, and from these mountains 7 rivers they come up. So as you can see, these are the 7 rivers which are there in this whole Plaksha Dvipa. So the residents of these Plaksha Dvipa, they are various types of residents, and the name of these residents are also given. The residents of this Plaksha Dvipa, they live for 1000 years, and they are very, very beautiful like devatas, And like Devatas, they beget children only once at the end of their lives. And they keep on performing lots of ritualistic ceremonies to please the various Devatas. And the presiding deity of this Plakshadvipa is Sun God. So now, this is the another slide by which you can see Mount Meru is a part of Jambudvipa. Yes, you know, that is the center of Mount Meru is the Jambudvipa. You know, so Jambudvipa is the center. I'll just go back. Okay. As you can see, this is the Jambudvipa. Center of the Jambudvipa, this golden part is the Mount Meru. Okay. Now, so apart from this Jambudvipa, from second to sixth Dvipas, they are there on this slide. So on each Dvipa, there are 7 mountains as we discussed. And the names of all these mountains, Shukdev Goswami describes. And then there are rivers which are coming from all these mountains. The names of these rivers are also described here. And then in each Dvipa, there are 4 castes of people who stay. And who all are staying there? They are also described in the 3rd section. So now, after this, you know, the Plaksha Dvipa is described. So as you can see, in the center there is Jambudvipa, there is Mount Sumeru, which is surrounded by this saltwater ocean. Around that is this Plaksha Dvipa. So this Plaksha Dvipa, from where does it get its name? As you can see, there is a Plaksha tree which is written here. So this tree is shining like gold. And the name of this tree is Plaksha tree, from which this Dvipa gets its name. And the height of this tree is 1100 yojanas. And the width of this tree is 100 yojanas. So, and from the root of this tree, there are flames which are coming in 7 directions. The residents of this Dvipa, they worship Surya Dev, and they worship Surya Dev as a avatar of Lord Vishnu. So they glorify him as the religion personified. He is the source of all the Vedas, and he is the origin of all the austerities. And then Shukdev Goswami says that, O King Parikshit, the longevity, sensory prowess, physical, mental strength, intelligence, and bravery of the residents of all these Dvipas, in all these Dvipas, Plaksha Dvipa residents, they have highest of all these things. Then surrounding this Plaksha Dvipa, you can see there is a sugarcane juice ocean. You know. So this sugarcane juice ocean is surrounded by another Dvipa which is called Shalmali Dvipa. So Shalmali Dvipa, from where does this Dvipa get its name? As you can see, there is a tree which is put here, which is called Shalmali tree. So, and on this Shalmali tree, there is a residence of Garuda Dev. As you can see, the Garuda Dev picture is there. So this Garuda Dev, he resides on this Shalmali tree, who is the king of all the birds, and he chants beautiful prayers, and all in the glorification of Lord Vishnu. And all the inhabitants of this Shalmali Dvipa, they worship Soma, they worship moon god, and they pray that may that moon god, who is the king of all the citizens, may be favorable to us. Now we are zooming out a little more, you know. So now the next Dvipa, which is described is Kusha Dvipa. You know, as you can see, the picture has become a little more, you know, it has shrunk. Innermost is a Jambu Dvipa, then the Shalmali Dvipa, and then it is Kusha Dvipa. So on Kusha Dvipa, there are clumps of grass called Kusha grass. So, and because of this clump of grass, this ocean, this Dvipa gets its name as Kusha Dvipa. So these Kusha grass, it was created by the Devatas by the will of the Supreme Lord. So this Kusha is actually the second form of fire. But this Kusha, the flame which is coming from this kusha grass, it is very, very mild and pleasing flame. And the young shoots of this grass is always illuminated by this flame. The prayers which are the inhabitants who are staying here, they offer prayers to the Supreme Lord in the form of Agni Dev. And they say, "Oh fire god, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you carry all the offerings to the Supreme Lord." So they are worshipping Agni as a form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have discussed in earlier sections also, whenever a great king, a great devotee of the Lord, he offers prayer, he does some sacrifice, just like Prithu Maharaj and Bharat Maharaj, when they were offering sacrifice, Indraya Swaha, Chandraya Swaha, so they would think that Indraya Swaha, Indra as a eye of Lord. So whatever inhabitants they are praying to that particular Devata, they are worshipping that Devata as a avatar of Lord Vishnu. So therefore these Devatas, these inhabitants, they pray that we offer our prayer to the Supreme Lord in the form of Agni Dev, who is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. So this is the Kushadvipa. Now surrounding Kushadvipa there is another ocean called Clarified Butter Ocean, and surrounding this ocean there is another Dvipa called Krauncha Dvipa. So Krauncha Dvipa also gets its name by a particular type of mountain. So as you can see, there is a mountain called Krauncha Mountain. So Krauncha Mountain is the very huge mountain here. This mountain is apart from the 7 other mountains which are there. On the every Dvipa there are 7 mountains. From these mountains there are trees, there are rivers which are coming. Krauncha Mountain is apart from these 7 mountains. And the inhabitants of this Krauncha Dvipa, they offer their prayers to Varuna Dev. And they pray to Lord Varuna Dev that, "Oh Varuna Dev, you have obtained your energy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you purify the 3 worlds. So by your constitutional nature, you please take away all the sins of ours." And surrounding this Krauncha Dvipa, there is the ocean of milk. So again, as I said some time before, that this is the milk ocean where the Devatas and the demons, they performed this Samudra Manthan Leela. So surrounding this milk ocean, there is another Dvipa called Shaka Dvipa. So this Shaka Dvipa gets its name by a Shaka tree. As you can see, the pointer is here, the Shaka tree. Because of this Shaka tree, this island gets its name. And the Shaka tree is very, very fragrant. And because of the fragrance of this Shaka tree, the entire island becomes fragrant. And the inhabitants of this Shaka island, Shaka Dweep, they offer prayers to Vayudev as a incarnation of Lord. They say they are offering prayers, "May the Supreme Lord, who is the Antaryami," because Vayudev is there in everyone's body, so he's Antaryami also. So he says, "May you protect us from all the dangers." Now we'll zoom out a little more. Okay, so now we are going to the outer Dvipa, outermost Dvipa, that is Pushkara Dvipa. So this is the 7th Dvipa of Bhumandala. And this Pushkara Dvipa, there is a very, very prominent personality, Brahma Dev. So Brahmaji, he has his residence in this Pushkara Dvipa also, where there is a 1,000-petaled lotus. On this 1,000-petaled lotus, Brahmaji has his seat. And on this island, there are 2 mountains and there are 2 rivers. Another interesting thing which is there on this mountain is this, on this dweep is the Manasottara mountain. As you can see, all around this dweepa, there is a concentric mountain, and that is called Manasottara mountain. The inhabitants of this Pushkara Dweepa, they offer their prayers to Brahmaji. in the form of, and they consider Brahmaji to be the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, Lord Brahma is known as Karma Maya. Karma Maya means he is the form of ritualistic ceremonies. Because by performing all these ritualistic ceremonies, one can attain the position of Brahma. And therefore, Brahmaji, because he is so very devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is considered to be non-different than Supreme Lord. So these are the 7 islands and the 7 oceans of Bhumandala. So this is the last ocean, the sweet drinking water ocean. Now this is another picture of this whole Bhumandala. In between Jambudvipa, then ocean, then after that the further dvipas are there, Kushadvipa, and then Prauncha, Shaka, before that Shalmali and all these things. So this is another picture which is made by one devotee. So this is the now this is another picture, the close-up view of whatever we have seen. So on this last dvipa, there is a mountain which is called Manasottara mountain, as the pointer is there. The Manasottara mountain is in the middle of this Pushkar Dvipa. As you can see, the width of this Pushkar Dvipa. In the middle of this Pushkar Dvipa, there is a mountain range called Manasottara mountain. And this Manasottara mountain is very, very important because it forms the boundary between the inner and outer parts of this island. On this mountain range, the sun travels at a certain distance. Another important thing which is there on this mountain range is, as you can see, there are numbers which are written 1, 2, 3, and 4. So on this mountain range, there are townships of the prominent devatas. The abode of Indra is there, as you can see the pointer, Devdhani. Abode of Yamaraj is there, which is called Samyamani. Abode of Varuna is there, which is called Nimalochani. And abode of moon is called Vibhavari. So we saw on the top of Mount Meru also, all these devatas, they had their townships. On this top of Manasottar mountain also, there are the townships of all these devatas. Now, this sun planet travels on top of this Manasottar mountain, and the chariot wheel of the sun god, it travels on the top of this mountain. And the distance between this center of the Sumeru to this, this distance is 15.75 million yojanas. So all these are details, no need to worry about all these details. So now this is another slide to show whatever we have discussed so far, the various dvipas, then the various oceans, the width of each ocean, Jambudvipa, and the salt water. So all these dvipas are there. Then the rulers which are ruling these dvipas, the special trees or special mountain on the particular dvipa, all are mentioned here. Now we'll go zoom out little more, So far, whatever we have discussed, these are the 7 dvipas out, and this is the last sweet water ocean. So I'll just go back. Yeah. So this is the last sweet drinking water ocean. After that, what is there? So that we'll be discussing now. As you can see, there is a golden thing, the yellow thing which is put here. That is called the golden land. So this is the golden land which is outside of this sweet drinking water ocean. After this golden land, this golden land is not inhabited by any personality. It is uninhabitable. After this, there is a very thick mountain, concentric mountain, which is called Loka Loka mountain. So this Loka Loka, you can see just so thick, this whole thick mountain is a concentric ring around this whole golden land. And this mountain is a tract between, as I said, sugar water ocean and the outer part. This outer part and this middle of the Bhumandala is separated by this Loka mountain. Okay, so then, so this is the section you are seeing from above, So this is the above view, the bird's eye view of this whole Bhumandala from top. Now, what is the height of this Loka mountain? This Loka mountain, as you can see now, So this Loka mountain, it extends up to the Swarga Loka, So this is the whole Loka mountain. This is the Bhumandala, and this is such a thick mountain, and this Loka mountain is such a huge mountain. It extends all the way up to the Swarga Loka, and pole star, the Dhruva Loka, is just the end of Swarga Loka. As you can see, there is a pole star there. So whatever sun, whatever stars, whatever luminaries, the sun, they are all there in this cylindrical, if you can make a cylinder out of it. So all these stars, all the sun rays and the luminaries, they are there spreading their light only in this much area. So basically this Loka mountain is the obstacle to spread of any light. So that's why all the area outside of this Loka mountain is all dark area. So there is no light in this Aloka Varsha. So outside this Loka mountain is a tract of land which is called Aloka Varsha. Now, Shukdev Goswami describes that on top of this Loka mountain, and the four directions, there are four Gajapatis, the four great elephants which are there to balance this whole Bhumandala. And who are these four elephants? Their name is also mentioned: Rishabha, Pushkarachuda, Vamana, and Aparajita. So these are the four mountains. And now Parikshit Maharaj may think, how does these four elephants, they support this entire universe? Shukdev Goswami says that the Supreme Lord, and along with all his associates such as Vishwaksena, he exhibits all his opulences, and they remain on Loka mountain till the end of the Kalpa of Brahma. By the presence of the Supreme Lord, all these elephants, they are able to sustain this, balance this universe, balance this whole Bhumandala. And then after this, Shukdev Goswami describes about the Aloka Varsha. What is this Aloka Varsha? So this is Aloka Varsha is all the area which is outside this Loka mountain, and there is no light here. So we have heard in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto that once one Brahmana, he complained to Krishna that my sons, my children, when they are taking birth and they are dying, so there must be some problem with the king. That's why this is happening. So Arjuna takes a vow, I will protect your sons, and then he builds a whole arrow network and the covering, but still the next son also dies. So then Arjuna was about to jump and in fire and give up his life. Krishna said, don't worry, we will search for the lost sons of this Brahmana. So it is described there that Lord Krishna took Arjuna to through all the layers of the universe. He first of all, he crossed this Loka mountain, such a thick Loka mountain. With the Sudarshan Chakra, he made a hole in this Loka mountain because he is somewhere down on the Bhumandala surface. He made a hole in this Loka mountain, and then it is described there. You can go and read this section, that is in 89th chapter of this 10th canto. Then he reached a place of no light, that is this Aloka Varsha. And after this, this is whole the universal covering which Krishna and Arjuna, they pierce and then they go to Mahavishnu. So that is what is described. Now, this is the horizontal structure of the universe. Now, this horizontal structure of the universe, as you can see, it looks like a flat thing, but actually it is not a flat thing. It is called a terraced structure. Terraced means it is like a stairs. So if you consider this to be a Sumeru mountain, this is all Jambudvipa. Then surrounding Jambudvipa is the saltwater ocean, and then surrounding saltwater ocean, the next Shaka Dvipa, and then further. So all these dvipas, they are subsequently going down and down. So it is like a pyramid. It is like a circular pyramid structure. This Bhumandala, so this is another structure of Bhumandala. This is called terraced Bhumandal. And there are many places where this type of structure is there in the temples, and people there don't have any idea what is this structure. Even the Yagya Kunda is the simplified form of this Bhumandal, So with inner circle, inner square, and then lower square, and then further lower, and then in the middle there is a Yagya fire. So this Sumeru, which is there in the middle, that is the fire of Yagya Kunda. So this is another description of the Bhumandala. Now we are seeing from the vertical cross section of this universe. So in this you can have a clear idea. So this is the vertical view of this whole universe. And after this, okay, yeah. So basically now we are starting the 21st chapter of this 5th canto, where the movement of the sun is described. So it is very, very complex topic. So we'll not go into the details of the movement of the sun. And then 22nd chapter is the movements of the various planets. So as you can see, this is the sun, and the sun revolves around this Bhumandala. As you can see, yeah. Again, I'm describing, this is the movement of the sun around the Sumeru mountain so this is the Sumeru mountain in the center of the Jambudvipa, and sun revolves around this whole Sumeru mountain on the Manasottara. And then this is another picture to show how the sun revolves. So this is the center one, Sumeru, then Jambudvipa, and then in that somewhere we have our planet Earth also. So the sun revolves, and there is a complex, intricate description of the movements of the sun. What is Uttarayan, what is Dakshinayan, and all these things are described. So we are not going to go into the detail. So this is another picture, I'll just explain quickly. So this is a Manasuttar mountain, and the sun is just above, that is 0.1 million yojanas above Manasuttar mountain. And it is said that the chariot of the sun god has only one wheel. This one wheel is connected to the Sumeru mountain through an axle. So this axle is 15.75 million yojanas. And this sun is attached to another axle through the Dhruvaloka. So this is another Dhruvaloka axis, and there is another axle. So this is the 21st chapter. We are not going to the detail. So this is the 22nd chapter, where the orbits of the planets are described. And in that you can see there are so many different types of planets. Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, all above the moon planet. And these are the Saptarishis, and on top of this is Dhruva Loka. So this is the Dhruva Loka. So this is the planetary description. Yeah, demigods can go anywhere in the whole Bhumandala. So then after this description, now we'll see a little bit about the Shishumar planetary system. What is this Shishumar planetary system? So it is described that above the Saptarishis, as you can see in this picture, above the Saptarishis there is a Dhruva Loka. And there is a whole zodiac belt, zodiac belt, or the Kala Chakra. So it is very difficult to explain all these things in an online presentation. So in the 21st chapter and 22nd chapter, the zodiac belt is described, and the 28 nakshatras, they are described. It is said that all these Saptarishis, they travel around the Dhruva Loka, and all the various types of all the different luminaries, they revolve around Dhruva Loka. And Dhruva Loka is like a pivot. All the various stars, all the nakshatras, all the various constellations, they are attached. As you can see, all the different, these are all different stars. They are attached to Dhruva Loka, just like the bull is attached to the center pivot. And all these planets, they are revolving around Dhruva Loka, and all the luminaries also. So that is what is described. And then Shishumar, the word Shishumar is Shishumar comes many times. What is this Shishumar? Shishumar is just the imaginary representation of the various devatas, various rishis, various planets, various constellations, and they form a dolphin. As you can see in this picture, they form a shape of a dolphin. So this is another description of, just a minute, yeah. So this is the another description of the different parts on the body of this dolphin. So this is the Shishumar constellation which is described here. And then after this, this is another, this is another presentation of what is Kala Chakra, how Kala Chakra is inclined and all that. It is very complex, we'll not go into the detail. Now, after describing everything in the last section of the 22nd chapter, Shukadeva Goswami describes that why he is describing this Shishumar planet. So this body of Shishumar is the external form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we had discussed in the second canto, the Virata Rupa. What is Virata Rupa? Sthule Bhagavato Rupe. This is the gross form of the Supreme Personality, external manifestation. So the attached yogi, Virata Rupa meditator, he meditates on this form of the Lord. And this form is Sarva Devata Mayam Rupam. Sarva Devata Mayam, So we just go back here. So you can see in this slide, all the various devatas, they are put on the various parts of this dolphin. So this is Sarva Devata Mayam Rupam of the Supreme Lord. That is the external feature. And the saint and this Virata Rupa meditator, he worships this form by offering these prayers. My obeisances unto you who have assumed this form, and this is the form of time. Resting upon you are all the planets, the master of all the devatas, and I meditate upon you. What is the result of such type of worship? The result of such type of worship by this Virata Rupa meditator is, Sukadeva Goswami says, one who chants this mantra, the above mantra, I meditate on your form, who is the form of all the devatas and all that, 3 times a day, one who worships with this mantra 3 times a day, to worship that Supreme Person and remembering his form, the result is he becomes free from all the sinful reactions. So this is the Shishumar planetary systems. What about other upper planetary systems? Bhagavatam does not describe that. Bhagavatam does not describe the upper planetary systems, but this is just a description which is there in other parts of Bhagavatam. Somewhere it is written, above the Shishumar planetary system is the Dhruva Loka. Above Dhruva Loka is Mahar Loka, where all the great rishis and the sages they reside. Then after that is the Jana Loka, where sages like Bhrigu Muni they live. Above Jana Loka is the Tapaloka. Tapaloka is the place where all the Kumaras, all the rishis and the Kumaras they reside. Above Tapaloka is the Satya Loka. Satya Loka is the abode of Lord Brahma. After this Satya Loka, there is little space which is left, and then the universal coverings start. There are 7 layers of universe: earth, water, fire, ether, false ego, and mahatattva. Each layer is 10 times bigger than the previous one. So this is the end of the 22nd chapter and the 23rd chapter, sorry. So now above everything is described. Now we are going below. Now, what is there in the subterranean heavenly planets? That is the 24th chapter. So this 24th chapter describes the planets which are below sun and above the earth. So now this is a little confusing, as we saw that this Bhumandala is a terraced structure. It is like a pyramid. So, and sun god is here, 1 lakh yojanas above Manasottara mountain. So sun god is actually in line with our earth, you know. So our Bhukhanda is somewhere here. So sun god is in the same line as our earth. And that's why when the sun goes above, it is called Uttarayan. Sun goes below, that is called Dakshinayan. So another technical details, no need to worry about all that. So Shukadeva Goswami describes that below earth, below sun, you know, the sun is this. So below sun, the 10,000 yojanas below sun is the Rahu. So Rahu is still here, you know, Rahu Ketu, that Rahu. And this Rahu moves all around the Bhumandala like one of the stars. So this is the movement of the Rahu around the planet, around the Sumeru mountain. And the presiding deity of this planet of Rahu is the son of Simhika. And this Rahu, he is the most abominable of all the Rakshasas, all the Asuras. And he has attained this position by the grace of Lord. And this Rahu covers the moon and sun, because when the Rahu, and that's why the eclipse happens. Whenever the Rahu comes between the sun or the moon, there is a solar eclipse or the lunar eclipse. So this Rahu is 10,000 yojanas below sun, and below that Rahu is another 10,000 yojanas. There is a place where Siddhas, Charanas and Vidyadharas, they reside. So we know the famous Vidyadharas, Siddhas and Charanas, they reside below sun level, below 20,000 yojanas below the level of the sun god. And then below these Siddhas, Charanas and Vidyadharas, another 79,900 yojanas below these Siddhas and Charanas, there is the place where Yakshas and Rakshasas, they reside. And then there is just 100 yojanas which is still remaining. So, you know, we know there are 7, there is a Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka. I'll just go back. Yeah. Bhuloka means our Bhumandala. Bhuvarloka is above. Then above Bhuvarloka is Swargaloka. Above Swargaloka is Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka and Satyaloka. So what is this Bhuvarloka? Bhuvarloka is this area which is below the level of sun, above the level of Bhumandala. So this 1 lakh yojanas is called Bhuvarloka. Okay, this is the planet below the sun, above the earth. So now this is another, you know, second time I'm showing this so that you get a proper understanding of what is Bhuvarloka. As you can see, this is the, you know, this is mentioning about what is Bhuvarloka. So this distance is called Bhuvarloka. So as you can see in this picture, these are the Loka mountains, huge mountains, and all the luminaries, they are between these Loka mountains. So this is a cross section. So the two Loka mountains, although it is the same circular mountain, all the luminaries up to the Saptarishi and Dhruvaloka, they are within this Loka mountains. So now we'll go below the earth. So just a minute. Okay. Now the interesting thing to note that, as you can see, this is a Bhumandala. So the 7 lower planetary systems, the 6 lower planetary systems, they are inside the earth Bhumandala. You know, as you can see in this picture, they are like the holes in the earth. So this Bhumandala is like a pyramid shaped structure, and the lower planetary systems, you know, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patal, and all that, they are inside the Bhumandala. They are not the separate planets below Bhumandala, they are inside Bhumandala. That's why they are also called as Bil Swarga. You know, Bil bolte hain na Hindi mein, Bil, सांप का Bil. So they are called Bila Swarga. Bil Swarg means the opulence there is like a heaven, you know. It is, they are all heavenly abodes. Although they are like all underground tunnels, they are heavenly. So this is another picture to describe what is the site, what are the locations of various lower planetary systems. There are 7 lower planetary systems. So now Shukdev Goswami starts the description. He says there are 7 lower planetary systems within the hollow cavities of the earth. You know, so this is the earth. This is whole earth, that is Bhumandal, and within Bhumandal there are hollow cavities. So these hollow cavities are lower planetary systems, nothing else. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patal. And below that there are 28 hellish planetary systems. They are also still within the Bhumandal only. You know, we'll discuss about that in the maybe in the next class. So now each of these lower planetary systems, what is the size, what is the length, what is the width? So every planet, every lower planet is having the length of 10,000 yojanas, width of 10,000 yojanas, and height of 10,000 yojanas. So they are like a cube. All are cube, you know, all this, although it is rectangle shown here, but they are all cubes, you know. So, and each lower planetary system is separated by other by a space of 500 yojanas. Okay, so that's how all this lower planetary system, and you can calculate the total height of this Bhumandal, that is 1 lakh yojan. What is the opulence of this Bilaswarga? Bilaswarga, as the name suggests, it is a Swarga, it is the heaven. There are beautiful gardens, there are beautiful houses, there are beautiful places of enjoyment in this Bila Swarga. And most of the residents of this Bila Swarga, they are Daityas. They are Daityas, they are Danavas, and they are Nagas. And they are all householders there. They have their wives, they have their children, they have friends, society, and all of them are engaged in lots of material happiness. And actually, they are enjoying even more than the Devatas, because in the heavenly planets, their enjoyment is many times disturbed by the attack of the demons. But in these planetary systems, there is no attack of the demons. So they have their enjoyment which is without any disturbance. And that's why they are very, very attached to all these happiness. Now, Shukdev Goswami says that who has made all these lower planetary systems, in that there are so many beautiful, wonderful structures. It is all made by Maya Danav. You know, the same Maya Danav who made the assembly house for Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Maya Danav, who is a great architect and the great artist, He has constructed beautiful cities there. The cities have beautiful walls, beautiful gates, beautiful houses. They have assembly house. They have even temples also. And they worship the devatas and they worship the particular devatas there. They're predominating deities. They have their resting places there. So the houses for the leaders of these areas, they are constructed with most valuable jewels. And there are always lots of asura and the nagas. There are many birds also there. There are pigeons, there are parrots, and there are so many different types of birds. Then Shukadeva Goswami describes, apart from this, there are beautiful parks, beautiful gardens in this Bilaswarga. And the beauty of these gardens even surpass the beauty of the gardens of the heaven. You know, we have heard Nandan Kanan garden and all that. The beauty of this planet, these gardens of this lower planetary systems, they are even more than heaven. And in that garden, there are lots of beautiful fruit-bearing trees and the flowers, and there are lakes and reservoirs which are full of crystal clear water. There are fishes which are jumping, and there are chakravaka and the other flower and the other birds which are there. So all these descriptions are there. Interestingly, Shukadeva Goswami says that in these lower planetary systems there is no sunshine. Therefore, they don't have the fear of time, because they don't know when the time is passing. Sunrise nahi hai, sunset nahi hai, all same. So they don't even realize that the time is passing by. So therefore, the fear which is created by time does not exist in the lower planetary systems. So if everything is, there is no light there, so then how does these places get light? There are gems on the head of the serpents, great serpents. The light comes from the gems of these great serpents, which dissipate all the darkness. Now, the residents of these places, they are very strong, very healthy, because they take the elixirs and the drinks which are made from the herbal extracts, divine herb. And because of these drinking this elixir, they do not experience any effect of the age. They have no wrinkles on their body, they have no gray hair, they do not experience any bodily pain, their bodily complexion do not change, they do not have any bad odor, they do not have any perspiration. Therefore, they do not experience any fatigue. They only fear one thing. There is no fear in the lower planetary systems, but there is a fear of Sudarshan Chakra. Although they are fearlessly living there, but still they are fearful of Sudarshan Chakra. So because of this Sudarshan Chakra, even the ladies of these demons, the Danavas and the Nagas and the Asuras, they have many times miscarriages when they fear the effulgence of Sudarshana. And after this, Shukadeva Goswami says, now I shall describe to you one by one all the lower planetary systems beginning from Atala. So what is this Atala planet? Shukadeva Goswami says that in this Atala planet, the prominent personality is the Bala. Bala is the son of Mayadanav. He resides there. He created 96 kinds of mystic powers, which some so-called yogis and the other people, they use to cheat people. In this Atala planet, there are 3 types of women, and they are simply created by the yawning of this Bala. The 3 types of women are Swairini, Kamini and Pumschali. So the Swairini women, they marry men from their own group. Kamini women, they marry men from any group. And the Pumschali, they keep changing their husbands. It is described that these women are so much addicted to enjoyment. Whenever any person enters this Atala, they forcibly capture this person, this man, and make him drink a very, very intoxicating beverage called Hataka. And because of this, the person becomes intoxicated and he thinks he has the strength of 10,000 elephants. And therefore, after making him intoxicated, these ladies, these women, they enjoy with him for a long time. And then after this, Shukdev Goswami describes Vitala. In the Vitala, Lord Shiva resides. So Lord Shiva resides in many places. So he resides in Vitala also. Vitala is full of gold mines, and he resides there with his wife Bhavani, and Shiva engages in sex life with Bhavani, and from the mixture of the vital fluid of Lord Shiva and Bhavani, a river is created. That is called Hataki. From this Hataki river, when the Agni blazes on this Hataki river, so it creates a structure, it creates an element called Hataka, which is actually gold. So the demons of this planet, they use this gold to make ornaments for their wives. So Prabhupada does not leave any chance. He says that, when it appears that when Lord Shiva and Bhavani, they unite sexually, the emulsification creates a chemical which, when heated by fire, can produce gold. And then he says that, Prabhupada writes that it is said that in the medieval age, the people, they tried to create gold from base metal, but they were not successful. And Srila Sanatana Goswami also writes that one can manufacture gold when a bell metal is treated with mercury. Similarly, he says that just like the bell metal can be transformed into a gold, low class people, if they take to the process of Krishna consciousness, they can also become a learned greatest of the Vaishnavas. So that is the glory of Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada writes. Even the lower class person, when they come in touch with Krishna consciousness movement, they become well-refined gentlemen. So Prabhupada does not leave a chance to glorify the process of devotional service. After describing this Vitala planet, now very interesting planet comes, that is the Sutal. Sutala is the abode where Bali Maharaj resides. So Sutala planet is, Shukdev Goswami glorifies Bali Maharaj in this section, and he describes the whole pastime of Bali Maharaj in a very short, in a brief way, and he says that Bali Maharaj still resides there in the Sutala planet. And for Indra's sake, although Lord Vaman, he tricked Bali Maharaj, but because of the devotion of Bali Maharaj, he is there residing in Sutala, guarding this Sutala planet. And actually, Lord Vamana, he made this Bali Maharaj even more richer, more opulent than Indra also. And therefore, Bali Maharaj, he worships Lord Vamana with a fearless heart. And then Shukdev Goswami says, what is the real opulence of Bali Maharaj? The opulence of Sutala is not the real opulence of Bali. Opulence of Bali Maharaj is, he has no attraction for all the material opulence. Only attraction of Bali Maharaj is his pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Because the mere attainment of all these heavenly planets, lower planetary systems, it is not the real opulence. The real opulence is to become the pure devotee of the Lord. That is the real opulence of Bali Maharaj. And when Shukdev Goswami says, when one becomes a pure devotee of Lord in love, he is immediately, automatically blessed with a great, wealthy material position. This is the real result of the Supreme Lord's devotion. Not the material facilities, but the devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. And all the material opulences, they are the byproduct. Real opulence is devotional. Prema ratana bina daridra jivan dasakar vetan more deha prema dhan. If we have no love for God, if we have no love for Krishna, all the worldly opulence is of no use. That's why, Narottam Das Thakur also says, Prema adhane jatana kari dhana tayaginu hari hari bifale janama guainu. Manushya janama paya radha krishna na bhajiya janiya shuniya vishakhainu. So this is the glory of human form. We can perfect our life by practicing devotional service. But if we don't take advantage of this, then we'll lose the greatest wealth. So that is what Shukdev Goswami is saying. And then Shukdev Goswami says that what to speak of offering the three worlds. The devotional service is so very powerful, even by nama bhas, even by chanting the names of the Lord. Shukdev Goswami now glorifies the holy names of the Lord. He says, even by nama bhas, one can become free from all the sinful activities. And then he glorifies the power of chanting the names of the Lord even once. He says, even while starving, even while falling or stumbling, if one chants the name of the Lord even once, Sakrin nama bhir, Sakrin means even once, he becomes free from all the results of sinful reactions. And Prabhupada writes that it is not a fact that one has to offer his material possessions to the Supreme Lord to engage in devotional service. Somebody may think, oh, I think Bali Maharaj had to give everything. This means that I also have to give everything to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service? No. Prabhupada clarifies here. It is not required to offer everything, all the material things. Devotee, he automatically attains liberation without any separate endeavor. He does not have to offer any material thing to the Lord. We have to just offer our devotion. Devotee is not interested in even liberation. Devotee is just interested in worshipping the Lord in pure love. And then Prabhupada, he describes a series of verses from Antelila of Chaitanya Charitamrit, where Haridas Thakur is describing the glories of the holy name. Keha bole naam hoite hoye papakshay, keha bole naam hoite jiver moksha hoye. Some people say by chanting the names of the Lord, all the sinful reactions go. Some people say by chanting the names one attains liberation. Haridas kahena name hridai phal naye, namer phale Krishna pade prema upajay. Haridas Thakur says, no, all these are not the results of holy name, chanting of the names. Namer phal Krishna prema upajay. When we chant the name of the Lord, the love of God, love of Krishna, love for the Supreme Lord arises in the heart. Just like the sun when rises, the first ray of the sun dispels all the darkness. Similarly, when the holy name rises in the heart, the sinful reactions, mukti, they are already there. They are already attained by the Lord. Sinful reactions are gone, mukti is attained. That is not the real result of chanting. The real result of chanting is one gets the love of God. So therefore, Krishna does not give the devotional service so very easily, because he becomes completely controlled by the devotees of the Lord. So that's what Prabhupada writes. And then Shukdev Goswami says that the Lord, he gives himself to his devotees, such as Narad Muni, he gave himself. He gave himself to 4 Kumaras. And therefore, Supreme Lord Vamana Dev is ready to become the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. And then he says, Shukdev Goswami says, somebody may be thinking, wow, Bali Maharaj is having such a great opulence. That is the mercy of the Lord. He says, no, material opulence is not the mercy of the Lord. What is the mercy of the Lord? The ability to remember the Supreme Lord is the mercy of the Lord. Janmaishware Shruta Shribir Edamana Madapama Naivaratya Vidhatum Vaitnama Kinchana Gocharaha. High birth, knowledge, beauty, fame, they are not the mercy of the Lord. The actual mercy of the Lord is to remember Krishna. That's why great Devatas, we saw the prayer of the Devatas, they are hankering. They are hankering to take birth in Bharatvarsha. Kim dushkaraina kratubhistapo vratair dana defirva dujayena phalguna Nayatra Narayana Pada Pankaja Smriti Pramushta Tishaindriya Utsavat. Devatas, they are saying, we have done so much tapasya, vrata, dan, everything we have done. Now we have attained Swarga. But there is one problem here. What is the problem? Nayatra Narayana Pada Pankaja Smriti. We cannot remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan because there is so much of sense gratification which is available. So therefore, the real opulence of a devotee is to the chance to remember Krishna. And then he says, Shukdev Goswami says, although Bali Maharaj was bound, he was thrown in the cave, but he did not, lose his devotional attitude. He prayed to the Supreme Lord, and then he describes the beautiful prayers of Bali Maharaj. He says, actually, wow, very beautiful prayer Bali Maharaj is making here. He says, Indra, he was ignorant of his self-interest. Indra performed so many wonderful yagyas. Supreme Lord appeared as Vamanadev. And what is he asking Vamanadev to do? He is engaging him in asking me for alms. Such a foolish person Indra is. He could have asked for pure devotional service. What is he asking? He is asking for some planet on this earth, on this universe, which will last only for one lifetime of Brahma. That's all. He is a foolish person. But my grandfather, Prahlad, he knew the real interest. He accepted only service to the Supreme Lord. So that is the glory, So Bali Maharaj, then he says, actually, I cannot follow Prahlad. In humility, he is saying, he says, I am so very attached to the material things of the world. I am not able to follow Prahlad. Although Bali Maharaj surrendered everything, Atma Nivedana. But out of humility, he is saying, I cannot follow Prahlad. And then Shukdev Goswami describes another glory of Bali Maharaj. One time, Ravana, he attacked Sutal planet because he wanted to conquer Sutal also. So when this Sutal Ravana attacked, Vamanadev, with the kick of one toe of his, he threw Ravana 10,000 yojanas away. So that is the glory of Sutala planet. Then after that, Shukdev Goswami describes about Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal and Patal subsequently. He says in Talatal, Mayadanav has made big city where all the various people live who are like magicians. And then on the Mahatala, all the Mahatal is full of angry snakes. These snakes have lots of many hoods. And they are descendants of Kadru. Kadru, will discuss about all these Kadru and all the other descendants in our further cantos. And then Prabhupada writes there, and Shukdev Goswami says that all these nagas, all these snakes, they are living there very happily. But they have constant fear of Garuda. Prabhupada says this is the material way of life. Even though these nagas, the snakes, they are living in so abominable position, they are thinking that they are happy with their family, wife, children. But the law of nature is nobody can be successful and peaceful in this material world. However powerful they may be, they are always in fear. Then what is Rasatal? In Rasatal, the sons of Diti and Danu, they live. And they are called Panis, Nivatakavachas, Kaleya and Hiranyapuravasis. They are very, very cruel. They are always very proud, but they are always defeated by Sudarshana Chakra. Below that is the Patala or Nagaloka. In this Patala, many demoniac serpents live, headed by Shankha, Kulika, Mahashankha, Shweta, Dhananjaya, Dhritarashtra, Shankachuda, Kambala, Ashwatara and Devadatta. The chief of all these nagas is Vasuki, the same Vasuki which was used as a rope in the Samudra Manthan Leela. And these are very, very angry snakes. They have many hoods. Some have 5, some have 10, some have 1,000, some have 100, some have 1,000. And all these nagas, they have jewels on their heads. And because of these jewels, the entire Patal is illuminated. So this is the end of the 24th chapter. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So anybody has any questions, you can ask. Seventeen. Okay, 14 planetary systems is in all the 7 dvipas. So as we discussed, the 7 dvipas of Bhumandal, they are the Bhumandal. Above Bhumandal is the 6, below are 7. Below means inside Bhumandal only. Okay. So yeah, lower planetary people, they do not have any miseries like that. No, Mother Earth, the planet Earth does not revolve. It is a stationary structure. Okay. Suns and all the planets, they revolve around Bhumandala, around Sumeru mountain. Earth is a stationary structure, as we saw, as you can, as I have shown. It is a stationary structure. It is a part of Bharata Varsha. Okay, so thank you very much for tolerating all this technical discussion so far. Although it is very, very technical, I don't know how much you could understand, but thank you for tolerating me and continuing to listen. So tomorrow we'll be completing this fifth canto, and we'll begin with the sixth canto day after. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.